So I'm here with Chad Callander, who's the executive director of Meals on Wheels. Chad, it's been a while since you and I've been able to get together because of all of these COVID restrictions, but we've had a great partnership between the food bank and Meals on Wheels. And we can talk about that in a bit, but I'd really like to know how Meals on Wheels is doing, how they've been handling it all and what's going on.
Yeah, sure. So, I think like a lot of organizations who are dealing with food security, we are an essential service. I think a lot of people at the beginning and throughout this, when I speak about Meals on Wheels, just assume that we would have trouble getting volunteers because of the related, pandemic and restrictions. But actually, we've had more volunteers than we've needed. The community has really stepped up to help us. So that has been absolutely amazing, as well as the outpouring of support we receive from the community in terms of donated PPE, donations, and all that kind of stuff. So we're doing fairly well. I think for us, though, our biggest concern is, those people that we serve and the isolation that they face. And we've tried really hard to, include letters with their meals or extra kind of treats and gifts and things that we can kind of provide to uplift their spirits. But also letting them know what third parties are available if there's somebody that they need to talk to. But we've also seen a large increase, and it's been a concern for us, is the number of individuals that are becoming victims of things like scams and things like that related to COVID. We're seeing that fairly, I don't want to say fairly often, but more than usual with clients that we serve.
Yeah. You're headquartered in the big First St. Andrew's Church, right beside it, the building right beside it there on Queens Ave downtown. I know that some of the Wish to Be Home or winter shelter stuff is also going on over there as well. So do you have anything to do with that? Like, do you go and see how they're doing, or do you have to share parking spots, or what happens there?
Yeah, so they just, I think they just started last week, if I remember correctly. And we have been in discussions with First St. Andrews just because they are our landlord. We actually, the house that we occupy is called Core House, used to be the pastor's home. So we're right next door. So we have been sharing some resources and things, and we're kind of in initial discussions with them, but it's still very early stages. I think for them, they kind of got information last minute that they were going to be able to launch. So I think they have spent last week and this week trying to find their footing, but we're talking to them about just the ways that we can help, or if there's anything we can do to be good neighbors. But what we can say is that we're so happy to see that it's happening and that there is a place for those people to go during the winter, because it's, it's early days now, but come January and those colder months, it's going to be very essential.
Yeah, that's right. So for us as a food bank, I think many agencies had a similar story that, once COVID came and the pandemic started, actually a lot of volunteers came out, a lot of donations came in. And I think there was just this awareness in the community, to get involved and volunteer or help or do whatever they can. Some have actually had to go through changes as a result of it. I know that we did as a food bank. Some were fairly substantial. If you had to alter your operational, outside of just the restrictions and wearing masks and being careful where to go, how about the structure of Meals on Wheels? Have you changed any of that in light of what the future might be?
Yeah, like I think beyond that, we bring the meals out to the volunteers, which they used to come into our building before. Beyond those kind of things, masks, delivering at a distance. I think one of the biggest changes for us, actually, which really worked out for our clients, was we used to deliver Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and now we only deliver Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And that's mainly because after talking to our clients, we realized that a lot of them didn't even really want their meals heated. They wanted to receive it chilled so that they could have it heated when it worked best for them. But also, they wanted to, maybe not have to wait at the door every single day for that person to come by. The schedule of every other day kind of worked better for them. So they didn't, it was less kind of that they had to worry about. And I should also say that anyone who does need their meal heated, we do provide that to them in case they can't do it themselves. But that was one of the bigger ones. And our clients really do enjoy that for the convenience factor, but also just it's kind of a less strain on their personal kind of time. But that too has also kind of limited the social interactions a little bit as well. I'd say that's probably one of the bigger things. But we've also seen a large increase in those who are needing kind of crisis and compassionate. So we've expanded that program. And that's really for people who find themselves in emergency situations and need food right away that we have on hand and can deliver to them. And thanks to our partnership with the London Food Bank, that's actually one of the programs that they help us that we're able to provide. Because we've seen, that program used to be, I think it's probably 60 to 70% higher than it used to be. And that has partially to do with those scams that we were talking about earlier before, but also, just an awareness in the community that we have that service available for people to provide a week of meals in emergency situations.
And scams are tough, especially for the elderly, right? It's hard for them to know sometimes what's going on there when people contact them on the phone or on the internet. It can be difficult, but with you, they have that trust arrangement. So that must be helpful to them. You're such a great organization. And I know, because since I saw you last, I've been out on 2 runs out to folks. And I've just been amazed at the volunteers, the drivers. They take the time, they know everybody that they're going to visit, and they will speak to them even with the mask on outside the door. And it was a wonderful thing to see. And in a time in which everybody's social distancing, the fact that you folks have been able to somehow make that work, that exchange of the food, I think, you leave it at the door, back up, people come and get it or whatever. But all the conversation that happens during those moments has been a beautiful thing. And they all know the drivers by their first name and everything. It's really quite effective what you have set up there. And I'm sure you know that.
And it's something that we're very proud of. I mean, when I first started at Meals on Wheels, one of the things that blew me away the most, beyond the volume of the service and things that we do, was that the average volunteer lasts with Meals on Wheels for 7 years. And I think that just speaks to what we do, but also, it's an experience when you become a volunteer with us that you really get to see what you're doing firsthand, because you're delivering those meals to the clients. And as you said, you get to know people, and, that's great for a social interaction standpoint, but it's also great for a number of other reasons. Like, they can notice if something may be off with the client and report back to us, and then we can talk to their emergency contact. Or if, someone's not answering, we can follow up and do our emergency non-home procedure. And the volunteer, is very helpful with that process. So it's a really kind of heartwarming thing to see. And as you've mentioned, even more heartwarming to see that even with the restrictions that have been created, our volunteers have adapted by, just stepping back a little bit.
It's pretty funny. I went out with one fellow that I know who did a run. So I asked him if I could join him, and I did, but I filmed for probably about 20 minutes. And he was talking away about all the clients and everything else. And then I came back and I had to edit it. And I couldn't edit any of it. Like, I couldn't take any of it out. It was just so interesting listening to him as he was talking. He was talking to me about why he does it. He was talking to me about the clients themselves and how he's known them over the years. He's been with you for quite a while. But it was hilarious. I couldn't really edit it out because I felt it was all so vital and compassionate just in the way it was. So I think you're very fortunate, Chad, to have an army of people that are like that. It's great. Can we talk a bit about just I know when the food bank, I think it was a couple of years ago, Feed Ontario came out with this report about how the number of seniors in food insecurity was really growing. We as a board at the food bank, we sat down and trying to figure out how are we going to handle that, because seniors would have a difficult time coming to this is before COVID, would have a difficult time coming to the food bank and all that stuff. And then, just the subject of Meals on Wheels came up, and it was just such a natural fit. Because tons of the people that donate to us are seniors. I'm sure that's true for you as well. But, the ability to reach them was something we were really constrained about. We actually didn't have that potential. But the partnership with you opened up a whole new field for us where we felt we were able to care for people better because of Meals on Wheels. As far as the seniors population goes, how are you feeling about that? And about how they're feeling about it? Like, I realize it's helpful to be able to get the food to them, but I guess if I were to be honest about me, I sometimes feel a bit of despair about COVID. It's hard. You're maybe the same. Sometimes I drag myself to bed and I get up in the morning. It's hard, and I think everybody in London is going through the same thing. But to your knowledge, do you think this hit seniors in a harder way?
I think so. I think for a lot of us, we're fortunate that we have certain distractions. I mean, we can go to work. We do phone calls with friends. I mean, they may not have the technology or the ability to do that. As much as we are socially isolated, seniors are even more so. I mean, they're just maybe watching on the news what's happening and just told to stay at home and inside, and that's all they really have. And yeah, I'm sure they have some activities to keep them busy, but I can imagine that the mental health effects that this is going to have on them is going to be long lasting. And even we see it in the clients that we're speaking to. Like I can say from, before COVID to after COVID, the amount of time we spend on the phone speaking to our seniors, like they want to talk to somebody because there's just such limited social interaction for them. And I think, beyond that, the mental health part of it, I think there's the other COVID effects that I think a lot of them are going to start to see, and we're seeing too, but it'll have an effect on them because their income is not growing necessarily like ours is. Theirs is kind of stagnant, and, food and costs are increasing, other costs are increasing, and it's, I think, pushing more and more in their wallets. And, case in point to that is the food box program that we partner with you on. We've seen a steady increase of that even before COVID. But now in the past couple of years, we've seen 20 to 25% more people accessing those food boxes. And they're specifically for people who physically cannot get to the food bank, which is in most cases seniors or those with disabilities. So I think there's a number of concerns for them that way. And, I remember actually speaking to one of our clients at one point, and his question to me, which of course I couldn't answer, was, well, when does this end? When does this stop? When do we go back to the way things were? And, you can't give it a definitive answer. And it to be quite frank, it broke my heart.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. I think for me, I've spoken with a few who couldn't see their grandkids, right? Because they see their grandkids from the States or something else. And for seniors, that's a really important thing that they do. They know they fulfill a vital role in the family about that. But for others, it was one woman, her husband went into hospital and didn't come back out and was in there, but she couldn't get in to see him. And I think that for seniors, that they're so used to integrating themselves within family life, community life, church life, whatever it is, and suddenly to not be able to have that when they're already feeling a bit isolated. I've just found that really difficult. I know some of them, and I feel terrible for them. And I know that Meals on Wheels is that kind of contact with community that they get. But can you tell me a bit about what happens? Just tell me what happens. The driver comes to the door, and what happens if nobody answers?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And it's actually, it's one of the key parts of our service. Of course, the food and the nutrition is really important, but it's that safety check-in. And so typically, if somebody does not answer the door, the driver is instructed to call us right away. Mm-hmm. And then we typically try to call the client, and sometimes they just didn't hear the door, TV was too loud, what have you. And then they come to the door, get the meal. In the cases where they don't, we have what we call a non-home procedure that we follow. And essentially we keep trying to call the person. We let the driver go on because they might have other routes they have to deliver, but we kind of take it in at that point. Yeah. After a certain amount of time, if we can't reach them, we'll follow up with an emergency contact. Even after that, if we still haven't been able to get a hold of them or figure out what's going on, we will have London Police do a wellness check to see if the individual is in need of assistance. We've seen instances where our volunteer can hear the person screaming through the door that they've fallen, and we've had to go inside and call an ambulance. We'll do whatever is necessary, but that's kind of a key part of our service.
So somebody falls down, saying breaks a hip or has an injury, that must be tough, but they would probably be able to yell out to somebody who's at the door, right? And then you would call in some help to help them with that, correct?
Yeah, the one story I actually share that's very often is the one gentleman volunteer. He recognized that a client of ours, he got to her door and their newspaper was still out, and it was, kind of a bit later in the day, and it came in the morning. And she always said that she loves doing the crossword puzzle, almost always done it first thing in the morning. And he actually, even though we encouraged them to call us, he followed up with the super and went down and said, "Hey, can you open the door? I'm afraid that something might be wrong," after knocking. And he had that she unfortunately had suffered a stroke and was able to call an ambulance. And so it really got that process faster and was really able to help that individual. So just, we see things like that happen all the time. And it's why, obviously what we do is so important, and why our volunteers are so vital.
Yeah. On the 2 trips I was on, some of the people would say, yeah, I've been feeling kind of ill or whatever it is. And then this person encouraged them to phone a certain person, whatever it is. But what's great about it, I think, is maybe people think of, I know I was probably like this myself, but you think of Meals on Wheels as a kind of a delivery service of food, right? To go to people, but it's so much more. And it ends up in many ways just becoming an emergency service too, when people are in that situation. Let's say they can't phone or whatever it is. Meals on Wheels actually becomes a lifeline in that situation. And I think that kind of contact is really important. Feeding people is really important, but the fact that you're kind of caring for the whole person when something like that happens, I think that's awesome. Something I didn't know, and it would be interesting, and maybe you do, but I don't know if you ever compile stories like that. Just about how many people actually were able to get better because Meals on Wheels had made that contact and plugged them into the right place. I think it's a fantastic thing.
Yeah, I mean, we survey our clients each year, and about 90% say to us that having the meals delivered physically and mentally helps them to feel better, even if it is only a couple of times a week. It's just the extra assistance. Caregivers note that it really helps, just alleviate some of the burden because reality is people work. They can't necessarily be there for those loved ones every single day, and to know that someone's at least checking on them, daily to make sure that they're all right is an important thing. So
Yeah.
we will continue to do that. And we always encourage our clients, we may not have the service that you're looking for, but we are so well connected in this community, and
exactly.
and pride ourselves on finding the service that you need to help you, whatever that may be.
That's really true. So you and I are talking at a time when Omicron has really made its presence felt. We don't know what's going to happen even tomorrow, but are you up for it?
You know what? We're always up for it, and we will always be here. And, I think like a lot of organizations during COVID, things are going to happen, and we will shift however we need to make sure that we can deliver service. I remember when this first started, and I reached out to some of the higher ups related to our organization, our organization, but just kind of emergency contacts in the city, and said, are we an essential service? And they said, absolutely, 100% you will. So whatever it takes to run, we'll do it. And, I remember saying at the beginning, and it's true, if I have to go and deliver all the meals myself, we'll find a way no matter what. So, but I think the way our community responded last time, whatever this pandemic continues to throw at us, I believe and know our community will respond.
Yeah. I think that if somebody has it within their genes that they want to help, they're a helping person. That's what they want to do. In a very strange way, exhausted as they are because of COVID, this is when they really show up. These are the kind of moments that they live for. It's too bad that some of these moments last for 2 years, right? And it goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
This is their moment. And I think they have really shown that. And you really have, Chad. I know that our partnership with you, with Meals on Wheels, has been one of the best things for us as a food bank. And I'm not trying to get you to say anything about the food bank that way, but you've also given us the sense that people that we weren't able to reach, we finally did. And it wasn't just a driver taking food out to that place. It's all these things we've been talking about here. These people are actually getting care from what you folks are doing. So I really thank you for that. I do thank you for showing up and all of the volunteers that are there. And I guess during this coming year, all of us just have to keep working together and make it happen.
Yeah. And I, of course, have to thank, all of our staff and our volunteers and everybody who makes our services possible. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of people who make sure that Meals on Wheels takes off every single day. And, I'm just one person part of that team. And yes, we're so thankful for the food bank and their partnership. But, I think it kind of goes to show, as we're in the middle close to wrapping up the London Business Food Care Drive.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said that wrong. The Business Care Food Drive.
Yeah.
How many organizations the food bank supports and makes sure, it gets out to those who need it, no matter what your age or gender or background, we're here to serve. So
yeah, that's awesome, Chad. Our partnership will continue on into this next year, but thanks so much for all what you've done, and to all of you and the volunteers and staff and others. Thank you. Thanks for all that you've done for the community.
And to you and all your team, Glenn, we really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Do you have something to share? Let everyone know about your next meeting, your need for volunteers, or your fundraising event on the Rogers TV Community Billboard. Send us your words and we'll bring them to life on Rogers TV and rogerstv.com. When it's time to spread the word, go to rogerstv.com to add your announcement to the Community Billboard.
Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m., it's the RTV Quiz. Giovanni Petiti hosts a weekly trivia competition that lets you play from the comfort of your couch. Play along at home and challenge your friends. And don't forget to follow along on social media. Let us know who's top of trivia, and you can find yourself featured on a future episode.
Are you kidding me, folks?
The RTV Quiz, Wednesday nights at 7:30 p.m. on Rogers TV or at rogerstv.com/RTV Quiz.
As it's ushered to the corner, and Kingston with some pressure off a helmet, and Mete has a lane. He has speed. Look at him go. Here's Mete with that speed. In alone, shoots, scores! Coast to coast. Victor Mete, 7 on the year.
Well, Victor Mete picks up this loose puck in his own zone, and all of a sudden he's away to the races. He's got a clear lane as the defenders were wide apart on the play. You can see that Helvig bit on the forehand, backhand move. He puts it back onto the forehand, goes straight upstairs to record the 5th goal.
In this period, here's a chance for Domi. Oh, what a play! Domi shoots! He scores!
Well, Taylor Dupuis takes the gamble as he comes out against Max Domi. He loses the race, and Domi just flips that puck up into the air, and you can see by that wide grin on his face, he was pretty happy that Dupuis came out and challenged him. Chytrin can't get back, and that's one that's going to be on a lot of highlight reels tonight. A lot of skill in that. Taylor Dupuis took the chance. Max Domi made him pay.
Most recent attempt to get out. He does this time and gets out into the major zone. Leaves it for Kane into the slot. Kane going for 2. Makes a nice kick. Scores! One dandy goal by Patrick Kane. His second of the game. And he brings the Knights to a 3-0 lead.
Patrick Kane scored his second goal of the game in less than 2 minutes as he pulls off a highlight reel goal here as he comes right down Broadway through the slot area as he takes a nice little feed here from Sam Gagne as he draws 2 checkers into him. Kane beats 1-2, and then he walks around Savage.
Up on the Erie blue line. Here comes Cadre looking for Tavares. Shoots! He scores! Nothing but that.
Dramatic fashion. John Tavares takes a beautiful feed here from Nazem Kadri. He gets that off his stick awfully quick to record his 50th goal of the season to give the London Knights a 2-1 victory in overtime over the Erie Otters as Kadri waits, and waits. And John Tavares wastes no time getting that off his stick and up over Yanis as the team gets down. In honor of breast cancer tonight, they wear the pink jerseys. And John Tavares scores 2:59 into the overtime period to give the Knights a victory.
Herbst in behind his own net. 55 remaining in the Ottawa penalty. Look at this! Marner upstairs! Another PK goal!
You want skill. This is skill right here. Liam Herbst panics a bit as he gets rid of this puck. Mitch Marner ends up with it as Christian Dvorak kicks that puck over to him, and then through the legs and backhand up over the shoulder as Mitch Marner, the second night to record 20 goals on the season. That's his second shorthanded goal. He had 3 power play goals last night.
Up top, another shot cranked from Moore, picked off by Miletich, and now we got a one-on-one with Thomas looking behind him. Thomas trying to go coast to coast. He goes in and out. Oh, baby! What a goal! Highlight real goal by Thomas.
What an afternoon for Robert Thomas. He's killing a penalty here. He's one-on-one with Henderson, and he does a little razzle-dazzle there between the legs, gets a better angle on Forrest on the play as he puts it in between the legs. This is his 5th point of the afternoon. He goes off the post and in. That's his 11th goal of the campaign, his 5th point of the afternoon. Let's have a look at the 9th shorthanded goal that the London Knights have scored this season as Robert Thomas is away one-on-one with Henderson here as he goes in between the legs. That reminds me of Sam Gagner back in 2006 against the Sudbury Wolves.
Does not get a chance turning around. His shot goes wide. Jonathan Diversa follows up on the play as the defenseman. He'll skate back to the bench in a line change. No, he circles back and stays on the ice. Almost too many men on the ice there for the Wolves. There's a chance for the field. Left side with Sam Gagner. Picks the front corner. 2-1. Power play goal for London. Sam Gagner.
Well, Sam Gagner with his full skill in effect here. That's Jonathan Diversa that falls for that move as Gagner puts it between the legs. Kevin Beach goes to poke check Gagner on the play. This is just a highlight reel goal. You'll see this the rest of the week as Gagner fools Beach. He puts it up over top of him to stake the London Knights to a 2-1 lead.
Watching Rogers TV.
My name's Ranger M, and I work at Catfish Creek Conservation Authority. I'm the community outreach technician, and that means I do a lot of this, chatting about all things nature and conservation with kids, adults, teachers, everyone. I love to knowledge share, and that's just what I'm going to do with you. So come on, let's go learn with Ranger M.
You're watching Rogers TV.
RTV, quiz show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the RTV quiz show, the hottest show on television. All right. Now, if you've never seen this show, that means that you've been in a coma since the year 2020. And I got one thing to say to you. Go back to sleep because you haven't missed a lot, except maybe for the hottest show on television. This show right here is a show where we give away valuable, non-existent prizes for your entertainment. So sit back and relax. Remember, you're going to need a pen, a paper, a beverage of your choice, and don't forget to bring your sense of humor. Here we go, round one. All right, round one, folks. The category is heavy metals. Now, I don't know about you folks, but I don't often listen to heavy metal music, but when I do, so do my neighbors. Actually, not that kind of heavy metal. It's not the Christian heavy metal, is it? It's not like Nuns and Moses. That's not the heavy metals. Heavy metals. It has to do with chemistry, all right? That's the chemistry I'm feeling for you right now. Here we go. Question number one. What metal was once added to gasoline to prevent engine knocking? It was phased out starting in the 1970s. Yes, folks, they phased this out in the 1970s and they replaced it with what they have now. Now, when you put gasoline in your engine, the only thing that comes knocking is the Visa collection department because it's all expensive. Question number two, what heavy metal is sometimes known as quicksilver? If silver was quick, it would be gold. I don't understand. Like, no one asked for a silver retriever. You know, it's nobody's favorite dog. Question number three, what two metals with the element symbols Cu and Zn combine to make brass? Well, speaking of combining metals, folks, fun fact here, Marvel has just announced that Iron Man and Silver Surfer are going to put their beef aside and join forces. They will now be known as alloys. Question number four, what metal was once known as the king of poisons? It became easily detectable after the advent of the Marsh test in 1836. Folks, you definitely know this if you watch a lot of those crime documentaries. You know, when I watch those crime shows, it makes my wife really nervous, mostly because I watch them with a pen and paper and I take notes. Wear latex gloves. Change shoes at crime scene. Do not talk to anyone named Loose Lips Eddie. Question number five, what radioactive metal was discovered by Marie and Pierre Curie and named after Marie's homeland? Yeah, good one. It's a good question. Radioactive element. She invented it. Husband tried to take credit. Right, time for round two. Round two, the category is us state capitals, which is great, folks, because fun fact, I write all my jokes in capitals. I wrote this last one in Ottawa. Oh, sorry. It's U.S. state capitals. Those are capitals of U.S. states. All right, question number six, sometimes known as Music City. What is the capital of Tennessee? Yes, folks, Tennessee, so it's going to be about country music. All right, country. I don't know about you, but whenever I hear a country music song, I just think it was a really creative suicide note. Somebody put the music. That's... Question number seven, what is the capital of New York? Is it A, Rochester, B, Syracuse, C, New York City, or D, Albany? Which is the capital? What do you think? Could be New York City? New York City, where something exciting happens every minute of every hour of every day. And most of that excitement remains unsolved. Question number 8. Boise is the capital of what U.S. state? Capital of boredom. Question number 9. What is the capital city of California? What is the capital city of California? Question number 10. Augusta is the capital of what New England state? Well, speaking of New England, folks, late-breaking announcement from the NFL. According to NFL, the New England Patriots are under investigation for cheating in up to 7 regular season games and 2 playoff games by using deflated balls. That seems kind of unfair since Lance Armstrong won 4 Tours de France and nobody said anything about that. All right, time for round one. Round one. Answers. Heavy metals. All right, question number 1. What metal was once added to gasoline to prevent engine knocking? It was phased out starting in the 1970s. That was lead. Question number 2. What heavy metal is sometimes known as quicksilver? That's mercury. Mercury. Question number 3. What 2 metals with the element symbols Cu and Zn combine to make brass? That's copper and zinc. Question number 5. What radioactive metal was discovered by Marie and Pierre Curie and named after Marie's homeland? That's palladium. She's from Poland. You see, palladium. Speaking of palladium, oxygen and potassium walk into a heavy metal bar. They both scream ouch, but they're still okay. If you got that joke, we probably hung out at high school. At the table, kind of far away from the cool kids. Who's laughing now? We are, because we get the joke and they don't know. They don't know what that means. They said it'd never come in handy, chemistry, but look at us now. Sharing a laugh. Question number 6, sometimes known as Music City. What is the capital of Tennessee? The answer is Nashville. Nashville, also known as the capital city of country and western music. Folks, like I said before, I'm not a big fan of country and western music, and I know a lot of people out there think the fans are like unintelligent and they're not really sophisticated and they're really condescending. And I'm not like that. I'm like that. To all the country western music fans out there, condescending means to talk down to, like to. It's a big word. Question number 7. What is the capital of New York? The answer is Albany. Albany, New York. Now, if you said New York City, you'd be wrong. You've always been wrong. So start spreading the news. You've been wrong all along. You've got to get this in your head. It's not New York. Question number 8. Boise is the capital of what U.S. state? Idaho. Idaho. I once had a friend whose job took him for 2 weeks in Idaho and 2 weeks in California, then 2 weeks in Idaho, 2 weeks in California. At the end of the month, he said he felt like a baked potato. Question number 9. What is the capital city of California? It's Sacramento. Question number 10. Augusta is the capital of what New England state? That's Maine. Maine, Augusta, Maine. Which means you are permanently in a state of confusion. Folks, don't go away. More RTV quiz show coming up right after this.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details. Night's action on Rogers TV.
Behold Emily Carr, painter, about to encounter the force that will consume her life.
How tightly they sealed their secrets from me, humble and pleading before the great trees, awaiting the invitation from the Spirit to come meet me halfway. Nothing is still now, everything is alive. At last, I knew I must see through the eye of the totem itself, the mythic eye of the forest.
Seldom able to live by her brush, before she died in 1945, Emily Carr was in the first rank of Canadian painters.
This is my country. What I want to express is here, and I love it. Amen.
Welcome back to the RTV Quiz Show. People tune in for my singing. That's what they tune in for, an incredible amount of knowledge presented in an entertainment way. Folks, we are the leaders in edutainment. All right, round 3. The category is the Roaring 20s. That's 1920, the Roaring 20s. And unlike the 60s, if you remember the 1920s, then you're probably dead. So it still count. The viewer, it still counts for the ratings, right? If they're dead, yeah, ghost buy things. The fabric softener, chains. Question 11. What U.S. constitutional amendment came into effect on January 17th of 1920? It was repealed 13 years later. What was that called? They peeled it, and then they repealed it. That's what that means. Like a banana. Question number 12. What book was published by F. Scott Fitzgerald in 1925? I remember this book. They forced us to read this in high school. You know what's really interesting here? How ironic is this? I went to high school in 1984, and the government forced every single high school student to read the novel 1984, which is about the government forcing you to do stuff. Huh? Hashtag ironic. Question 13. The subculture of Western women who wore short skirts and bobbed their hair were known by what name? Ooh, 1920s, the shorts. So 1920 short skirts, I guess that meant the ankles. You could see their shoelaces. Oh my gosh. No? Remember it was dun 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 dun. Those people. Dun 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 dun. Question 14. What is the name of the airplane that Charles Lindbergh used to make the first solo non-stop flight from New York to Paris? That's quite an accomplishment, folks. This is before GPS. This is quite an accomplishment. All right, I'm a big fan of GPS here. I got a new watch here. It's a GPS watch for seniors. So not only does it tell you how to get someplace, it tells you why you went there in the first place. Like, why am I here? Oh, pickles. Yeah, add peanut butter. Yes. Question 15. In 1922, the Irish Free State and what African nation declared their independence from the British Empire? Looking for a name of an African nation that declared their independence from Britain in 1922. What country was that? Give you a hint. It's in Africa. Give you another hint. They declared their independence in 1922. Right, time for round 4. All right, the category is sculptures. Famous sculpture, okay? And as a visual clue for you guys who like that kind of stuff, this is especially for you. Here we go. Question 16. Whose most famous work was the sculpture of David? In this picture right here. Many women scholars consider him to be the specimen of the most perfect man. Mainly because he's in good shape, he doesn't say much, and he's worth millions of dollars. So that's a trifecta. Question 17. What is the name of the famous sculpture by Auguste Rodin in this picture here? I wonder. What could be the answer? Question 18. Inuit sculptures, such as this one, are often made using what soft rock? That's easy. See, it's a seal, a soft rock, so it's probably made with that song that goes, but did you know when it snows, my eyes become large, and the light you shine can't be seen. My baby, on a kiss of a rose. I think statistically, 12% of the tone-deaf population will get that joke. Question 19. What ancient Greek sculpture by Alexandros of Antioch is missing both of its arms? This picture here. We're not going to show up. We're not going to show a picture because the producer thinks it's going to be too easy. So if you don't know it, then he's calling you an idiot. Is what he's doing. Question 20. What is the tallest statue of the world? Is it A, the Statue of Liberty, B, Spring Temple Buddha, C, the Statue of Unity, or D, Christ the Redeemer? Or is it this thing from Ed's Crazy House of Stereos? Come on! We got the biggest deal! This costs 17 bucks. Yeah. 17 bucks. Right, time for round 3. Round 3 answers. The category was the Roaring 20s. So let's see how many you got right. Question number 11. What U.S. constitutional amendment came into effect on January 17th of 1920 and was repealed 13 years later? That was the 18th Amendment. We will also accept prohibition. Prohibition, a banning of alcohol in the United States. Question 12. What book was published by F. Scott Fitzgerald in 1925? That was The Great Gatsby. The Great Gatsby. I read the book, and it really should be called the It's Okay Gatsby. It's not bad. I mean, it's basically a story about the biggest third wheel in relationship history, is basically what it's called. Question 13. The subculture of Western women who wore short skirts and bobbed their hair were known by what name? They were the flappers. The flappers. Question 14. What is the name of the airplane that Charles Lindbergh used to make his first solo flight non-stop from New York to Paris? It was the Spirit of St. Louis. Not to be confused with the Spirit Airlines of today, because that flight would have been turned around halfway through because somebody didn't want to wear a mask. That would definitely no nonstop. Question 15. In 1922, the Irish Free State and what African nation declared their independence from the British Empire? That was Egypt. Egypt. Oh, a fun fact. Speaking of Egypt, some Egyptian scientists have said that after a 17-year effort, they have declared that Egypt is free of its crocodile problem. But other scientists say they're just in denial. Question 16. Whose most famous work was the sculpture of David? Who was that? The answer was B, Michelangelo. Michelangelo here. Oh, speaking of Michelangelo here, fun fact here, it says that Michelangelo took over 2.5 years to carve the statue of David. 2.5 years, that's pretty good for a turtle. I mean, that's... Question 17, what was the name of this famous sculpture by Auguste Rodin? Huh? That was called The Thinker. The Thinker. Oh, it says a fun fact here, folks, says The Thinker is made completely out of bronze. Bronze. Oh, that's because if it was made out of granite, he would have called it The Stoner. Question 18. Inuit sculptures, such as this one, are often made using what soft rock? The rock is called soapstone. Soapstone, eh? Question 19. What ancient Greek sculpture by Alexandros Atokich was missing both of its arms? Yeah, here's a picture right there. That's Venus de Milo. Venus de Milo. She wasn't just a famous model. She was also a famous author who wrote the book Farewell to Arms. Question 20. What is the tallest statue in the world? That was C, the Statue of Unity. Huh? I did not know that. It says right here, fun fact, located in India, this statue of the first Deputy Prime Minister of independent India is 182 meters tall and can be seen within a 7-kilometer radius. Well, somebody has a big ego. Speaking of egos, you don't go away. We'll be right back right after this.
It isn't the heavy trays that make the job difficult, or the fast pace you need to keep up. It's not working another double because someone called in sick. What makes the job tough is the moment you realize a customer has had enough and you have to make that decision not to overserve. Refusing service isn't personal, it's the law. We know it's not easy, but we're counting on you to keep us all safe. Thank you, servers, for doing the tough job.
Jeff from Chillin' and Grillin' with Jeff, and we're back with Season 3. This season, we've had the opportunity to see some great backyards, to have some fantastic food cooked on some great grills, and this season, we're helping you take your barbecue game up by adding some great barbecue tips from some local experts on anything from spices to knife care and using the proper wood to smoke some great food. Join us, Chillin' and Grillin' with Jeff, Season 3.
My daughter is 7 years old and has a frenemy. They have play dates that always end up in a fight or tears as friend bosses her around and treats her poorly, but she still wants to be her friend. What's a parent to do?
I would let them acquiesce to a certain amount, and then, when they're at this age, you still need to be supervising their play dates. So I might step in, not to correct the bossy child, but it's my child that I'm concerned about. I would just expose her to other people, teach her to have a voice, and let her know that she's got options.
Hi everyone, my name's Ranger M. I love to knowledge share, and that's just what I'm going to do with you. So come on, let's go learn with Ranger M.
Show double point answers. That's how we roll. All right. Round 5. The category is Let's Dance. Let's dance. Question 21. What fast-moving ballroom dance originated in Austria in the 18th century? Huh? I like this category, folks. You know, it's me. I love to dance. Are you kidding me? I'm a great dancer. I got more moves than you all. Just can't remember where I put everything. Question 22. In 1975, Van McCoy's most successful song encouraged listeners to do what disco dance move? Is it A, the hustle, B, the bump, C, the funky chicken, or D, the electric slide? Van McCoy. I don't know, I guess he was a one-hit wonder. Which leads me to thinking, the person who coined the phrase one-hit wonder, do you think he coined any other famous phrases? Question 23. What country song, famously covered by Brooks and Dunn, celebrates line dancing in a honky-tonk near the country line? Yeah, line dancing? I hate line dancing because you can't fake it. You look like an idiot if you don't know what you're doing. You know, and you really can't hide. You think, I'm going to hide in the back and just follow what everybody else is doing. But then everybody spins around, and then now you're at the front. You see what they did there? Question 24. What Chubby Checker song topped the hit parade twice in the 1960s? It was the most successful single in Billboard history until 2021. What song, what dance did Chubby Checker make you dance? Question 25. What group released a song Gonna Make You Sweat or Everybody Dance Now? Why does everything sound like the Grand Canyon here? Everybody. This does nothing. Everybody dance. Everybody dance now. All right, time for round 5 answers. All right, the category was Let's Dance. Here we go. Question 21. What fast-moving ballroom dance originated in Austria in the 18th century? It was the Venetian Waltz. Question 22. In 1975, Van McCoy's most successful song encouraged people to do what? Do the hustle. I like these songs, you know, all the words. It changes there. It surprises you. Question 23. What country song, famously covered by Brooks and Dunn, celebrates line dancing in a honky-tonk near a country line? That's the Boot Scoot Boogie. Boot. Question 24. The Chubby Checker song, what dance did he invent? It was the twist. Come on, baby. Let's do that. Stop, you're going to get a headache. Question 25. What group released a song, Gonna Make You Sweat? Everybody Dance Now? That was CNC Music Factory. Folks, speaking of CNC, I'm going to CNC you later. Till next week. Remember, remain calm, remain happy, and remain nice.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line. Email us or connect with us on social media.
I'm Jennifer Slay, the host of What's Up London. Join me each week as I meet Londoners who are doing extraordinary things and helping to make the city a better place to live. Watch What's Up London Mondays only on Rogers TV.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Tyler Fines, host of Off the Puck Hockey on Rogers Channel 20. We interview some of the biggest names in hockey and sports. Check us out, Rogers Channel 20, Off the Puck Hockey. Let's go.
Calling all journalism students. Omni Television is once again awarding scholarships to qualified students pursuing a career in third language journalism.
I am very grateful